Hey guys, welcome to Mgtow is Freedom. Thank you very much for coming here. And thank you much for keep coming back. Mgtow, men going their own way. Right? That way is away from gynocentrism, away from feminism, away from women leading men around by their noses, away from social norms that denigrate, destroy, and minimize the masculine man. Right? We're men. We make it happen. I have the penis. Right? You have the penis. Fuck everyone else. There's no reason we should listen to them when it comes to anything, because look at the condition this country's in. These idiot liberals and feminists, they have done nothing but push on men. Push us back, push us down, tell us we're doing it wrong and that we always have, and that they're going to make a world a better place. Well, look at the shithole they've caused, right? But there's some interesting points here that we're going to start seeing. You know, we're going to start seeing feminism, gynocentrism, right, fall on its face. And I liken it basically to the world as a jungle. The world is a wild place. It's a swamp, right? And there are paths through life, like there are paths through the swamp. They're well-worn paths, right? They're wide, and you can see where they go. You should follow the path, right? That path is the quickest, safest way to lead you from point A to point B, is it not? Right? So what's the deal with women? What's the deal with feminism? Right? Well, let's see. Women, they start out their life, their adult life, at age 18. They graduate school, and that's as good as they're ever going to look. Their bodies is as perfect as it's ever going to look. And they can work on it all they want. They can get better at makeup. Sure, they can do all those things. But underneath all of that clown makeup, right, and despite all of that exercise and ritual, they are becoming less and less valuable. They're a depreciating asset that is being managed by a mental midget. Right? So what do we see? I see people running through the jungle any which way they want. Running through the swamp. Society and our culture has left that path I'm talking about, that leads from starting to ending, from a good place to the best place, right? From the beginning of life to retirement. It goes right there as fast as possible. If you follow that, you're in good shape. But what has happened? Right, there are signs all over that path. And people are turning off wherever they want. And they're believing these new signs. This sign says, women should have equal rights. And the next sign points another direction. And it says, divorce is a great idea. And you've got women running all over the swamp. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Right? They attach themselves to a man, and he says, okay, babe, stay with me. I see the path. Right? It's the well-worn, well-traveled, proven, established, reliable path. And it's heading, right, to a good place, a good retirement, quality of life, personal satisfaction and pleasure. Let's go there, babe, right? And so she's on his back like Yoda, and she like turns him, go down this other path. He's like, no, the path is this way. And she's like grabbing his ears. No, go my way. I know. Right? And so she leads him down this path. Right? The path of destruction. Right? Runs him into a tree. Knocks him the fuck out. Who knows, what the analogy is for this? Who knows? The analogy of the path or the way to go. But the world is a jungle. It's a dangerous fucking place. It's a swamp. And what happens? Women turn off the known path. They're like, this is the path men have traveled for hundreds of years, thousands of years. This is the path of oppression. We, women, are going to make our own path. And off they go. And the first fucking thing they do is destroy everyone around them. And they run themselves right into quicksand. And they start sinking in quicksand. Right? They realize that they're not on the path that's known, and they're making their own path. And they're standing there, and they scream and yell, someone save me! while they're in the quicksand, right? And some guy will walk along, a white knight, and he says, "Here, let me help you up," right? And he grabs the woman who's making all kinds of mistakes, the quicksand being symbolic of her mistakes, pulls her out of that and says, "Stay with me, right? Follow me, I'll take care of you." And he starts to head back to the path, and she steers him wrong again, right? Crashes him. And then she's right back in the quicksand, sinking, going in debt, making stupid decisions. She's immoral, she's irresponsible. Right back in the quicksand, right? But this isn't just the quicksand of death, right? It's the quicksand of the wall. Every day, every hour, every second, women get older and they're worth less. Less and less. But they become more creative as they're standing there in that quicksand, unable to get out of it. Right? Getting into more and more debt, depreciating, boop, 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 as she sinks down, depreciating in value. Her value depreciates, and she screams and yells, and men come to her rescue. She says, "I'm beautiful, trust me, take me, save me." He pulls her out of the quicksand, "Follow me," right? He heads back to the known path, and she leads him right back. Oh no, this is the path over here, right back into the quicksand. Destroying men. You know, even if a man is able to get away, right, she strips him of his money. Right? She strips him of his pride, his self-respect, in the process of diving back in the quicksand. There is a point, though, where those women are left in the quicksand. There is a point where men are going to be Mgtow, and they're going to hear the cries of the woman and go, "I'm not saving you because you can't be saved." Not only can't you be saved, you won't understand, you won't learn, you won't take direction, you won't take advice. You won't fucking do as you're told, you won't submit. You won't give me what I want, and all you want to do is take my stuff, strip it from me, and try and kill me at the same time, while you sink back into the quicksand of valuelessness, lack of value. And there comes this point. The baby boomer generation has seen a great deal of divorce in it, a great deal of masculine destruction, and they did their job as a bunch of feminist, gynocentric bitches. But it's their daughters. That's women that are in my age group. They're in their early 50s down to 30 years old or so. That group of women is losing value on a daily basis. They are becoming older, uglier, and stupider, and they're sinking in quicksand. They're sinking in quicksand. They thought they were porn stars 20 years ago. 10 years ago, they said, "Look, I'm a MILF, right? You need me. Look how hot I am." And now it's, you're a washed up hag. Men, more and more and more, are going to leave these ignorant bitches in the quicksand, sinking, because they left that path, that well-known, well-trodden, wide, well-established, easily visible path. And the women, I guess, don't like it because it's the path of patriarchy. Right? It's the path that leads to fulfillment. Right? It makes working worth doing because it's not a path of destruction. So there are women running left, running right through the jungle, thinking they're doing it right, saying, "I'm going to make my own path. You can't tell me." And time after time, right into quicksand everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. They think they're going to be, socially brilliant, right? They're going to be accepted and loved. They think they're doing all of these things for their own betterment, but they're leaving a well-known path. If the path that these women think is so good, why haven't anyone discovered it 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 2,000 years ago? Well, I'll tell you what, 2,000 years ago in the Roman administration, the Roman Empire, women started getting rights and power, and they started taking separate paths. And they contributed to the downfall of the Roman civilization. They contributed to it. When an entity, a social system leaves the path that led them to greatness, and they go off and try something new, it oftentimes leads to destruction. Women have left men and left the path, and they demand we follow them. We aren't going to do that anymore. Not as Mgtow, that's for sure. We're not going to fall for the trick of the woman who's in the mire, right, in the muck, in the quicksand, who screams, "Please help me! I was victimized."